Welcome to Talk of the Town. You know how we do, live. This evening we're going to have the King, Jehoshaphat, the host with the most hosts, and me. I'm on my tea stuff, man. Welcome to Talk of the Town. Peace. I'm gonna wait till my people's tap in. How's everybody doing, man? How's the house, you know what's going on out there. Tap. Hope everybody had a blessed day. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna have some tea while we get busy. Yeah, chamomile. Well, actually, it's chai. Poppy, man, I ain't hear nothing from you, man. Got these folks that want to challenge you one-on-one, baby. Oh, that chai tea special. Welcome to Talk to the Town. We're going to try to have some people pop in. See how we going to do this. Peace and blessings to everybody. Let's see who we got. Hello, Miss T. How you doing, love? All right, let me see my boy Coast at. I don't know. I'm gonna just wait a little bit. I'm bum. Let me see who this is. Okay. Bum. Positive feed. Peace, King. Peace.
Peace. Salute, my guy. It's good with you, fam.
It's a blessing having you. How you?
Cool, man. Just just got out of work not too long ago, so I'm just right now locked in with you. Just jumped right into it. Took care of what I took care of at the crib, and got myself right. And then, as I said, me had to hurry up and get up here so we could chop it up.
How was work though? And what type of work do you do, if you don't mind me asking?
Uh, my fault, man. I got this set up is real riggy right now. I do construction right now. I'm doing paving, construction and paving. And so for the most part, I do some mason work that I do. Masonry, for anybody to understand what that is. I do you know work with blocks and cement, putting it together.
So that means very crafty with your hands.
Yeah, I mean, I had them long enough. I should be. You know what I'm saying?
They say, man, a man no good, you know, is useless without his thumbs. You know, so I was always taught, you know, when you're dealing with the connect and you handling business, make sure it's right. You know,
Yeah, for real.
can't do nothing with broke thumbs, though. You can't hold nothing.
Nah, I can't do nothing. Can't do nothing without no thumbs. That's a fact.
Sidebar. That's some old sidebar stuff, man. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
However,
what's up?
yeah. So speak about yourself a little bit, man. You know,
I can't really. I can't really hear you, but I can hear you. But it's like it's like an echo, kind of an echo.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you, but it seemed distant.
We started UFOs 10
It seemed
years
kind
ago
of distant.
with one scandal. Today, get into UFOs with 70 different choices. With another band, we had no desire to change, but once we started,
Check.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hear you. I can't see you though.
Nah,
What's
that's
going
cool.
on? What's going on, brothers? What's going on?
I can't see
Cool.
nobody. Salute. What's
Uh,
up?
I think I found that out. Usually, when you can't see somebody, you might have clicked just for the voice, but that's okay because when we play back the video, everybody be able to see everybody's face and everybody's expressions.
Yeah.
But we're on the
Yeah.
talk of the town. My name is Coast. We're here with Bump. We got a special guest here, the King. Shouts to you. Oh, he zoomed out. So I think we got to add him back to the chat because he zoomed out.
Okay. He
So he can see his face because he probably only added out for audio. Because it
okay.
says audio and then it says video.
Melissa Nicole, Peace Queen, Shanetta Dixon, Dizzy Rowe. Thank everybody for tapping in. You already know what it is, though.
Yo,
Saying that.
Bump, you quarterbacking today.
That's cool.
I'll piggyback. You quarterback today. I'll point guard. You know, you quarterback. I'm point guard.
Yo, you want to know something too, though, Coast?
What's good?
Somebody brought to my attention that I did it last night, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yo, Oliver was like, yo, you should patent that shit, man. He was on some shit like, yo, Groove was like, yo, you gotta patent that. You gotta when you dealing with people, when you talking, you gotta give them the hate side, and you gotta give them the love side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We gotta like, but it's hard to hate Groove. It's hard to publicly hate Groove because he do so much good. Like niggas gotta hate certain niggas. You gotta hate behind closed doors.
Yashi, man, I've been trying to holler at you. I want to bring you alive, bro. I respect what you got going on, man.
So
Real.
everybody that's tuning in, anybody got any questions they want to ask about any ongoing things that's happening in the town? They got any questions they want to ask me and Bump? Or they know somebody they want to interview that they feel like need a spotlight on them? Okay, somebody joining.
Okay, I'm
Can you
back in
see
the
us now,
building.
King?
Nah, I can't see y'all, and I looked for the it asked me if I wanted to be a part of the video, and that's what I clicked into.
Damn.
I got you. I've been calling you, so I'm gonna just drop my number in your inbox out where you can hit me. Yeah, because I would like to come on your joint. You know what I'm saying? Complete the cause. I see you, you know what I'm saying, speaking the ministry, the gospel. You know what I'm saying? I support that highly, bro. I'm one of those. Word. And it was good seeing you when I was in the port though. Regular. But yeah, let's get to the interview. King, so what's up, man? Like, give the people a little bit of, you know what I'm saying, the background on yourself, man. Like, I know you, you know what I mean? And I know you to be a very tough dude. Like, and when I mean tough, man, no nonsense. You stand on principles and morals. You have a certain character about yourself that you uphold yourself as a man to be good. Give me a little backdrop, man, because I know you used to play the streets a little bit.
Yeah.
And from that point, where did you come to in your point of life to where it changed you in the direction of the ministry?
Um, First off, I just like to say, I give glory to God and honor to
Blessings, blessings.
my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, um, and who I understand and know Him to be, um, both in the form of God, um, in the unseen realm, and God here down in the flesh. For the most part, I was, I came up a product of the environment.
Mm.
I, the story really don't change. For most of us, we have the same story, because it was a design against us. And so um I won't delve too deep into that because a lot of y'all probably got the same story. Um but coming up and being in the hood projects or whatever the case may be, where different scenarios would play out, you had to be able to at least defend yourself, even if you weren't into the streets. You at least needed to know how to defend yourself. I grew up during the crack era, born in 1980.
That's a tough
Um,
bit. But for anybody that don't know, very tough era, man, you had to be there.
You had to
And
be there. 1980, I'm 1983. I'm pretty sure Bump is in the 70s. But still, uh, growing up in that era, what did you learn from that era that the positive things that you carry as like from a youth? Because we all kind of had the same story, but what did you take from a youth that you carry up to now as an adult?
well, part of what I took was a byproduct of what I was going through. So, being that it was the 80s, a
Mm-hmm.
lot was going on. We had some of the greatest to ever do it: music, sports, and in history, period. And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, during that time, there was a lot happening. It was the 80s. There was the war on drugs. AIDS had hit during that time. Um, Crack, which everybody
Mm-hmm.
who thought that started smoking it thought it was like weed and started smoking it, and a lot of people, families, was impacted by it, and still are impacted by it from way back then. Um, it was a design against our people, black people, when I say that, in the urban communities, and it happened shortly after the 70s with the war when, and it transitioned. Uh, Men who didn't have jobs. They took the factories out of the country pretty much everywhere. They started shutting down factories.
Pitney Bowes
Um,
in,
Facts.
the Fleer Homes, the Pitney
yeah,
Bowes in.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
in a lot of those factories, they supplied um, the men of the family, the heads of the households, and that's how Martin Luther King was able to do his thing. Black families supported him, and so
Mm.
they at that time the unity of the black man and his dollar was recognized, and so we had this pandemic. This is what I like to call it, crack that hit. I was born in the 80s. I know a little bit of my history, so I had to go back there. So I was born in the 80s, where at this time they couldn't afford to allow black people to ever understand that if they united, they had power, and so they had to criminalize the black man. And by doing that, you take away his jobs. When you take away jobs and you create poverty, that's probably like one of the greatest crimes you could ever commit, because poverty is going to cause people to get desperate. As we know, the food stamps is cut off now, so you can
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
feel
Speaking
what
of
I'm
it now.
talking.
Yes. Talk about it.
And it gets people desperate. And when people get desperate, they steal.
Mm-hmm.
They get frustrated and angry. So So you can imagine there are some domestic violence disputes going on. People are losing their jobs, so they're down and out, which gives them more reason to drink. Hence, the reason why liquor stores was everywhere. Um, and then
Facts.
they drop off crack, cocaine in the hood. And so here we have a drug where, for those who came up in a family that was poor, here is now an opportunity for, if that father was stressed out and drinking, or either called out from dope from the 70s, coming out of Vietnam, a lot of the soldiers came back on dope. Here is now a way for a young man coming up to get some money in his pocket and become the man of the house.
Mm.
And so there's a lot of hustling that took place during that time, street activity. You either was selling it, crack cocaine, or you was getting high off it. Um, And so during this time, I'm seeing all of this going on. Too young to participate, but I was old enough to see the transition and understood that something had impacted the community because it hit my family.
Yes.
Mm.
Now, my stepfather was a painter, and we had a nice house. He was a builder as well, so he built a dope bar at the crib. And all his painter friends, we had a long hallway that had they played cards and they had a dart board, and all the painters used to come to the crib and they had fun, they drank. I seen the coke grinder, so I knew they was sniffing. I know that now, but I used to wonder what it was, but I seen the powder in there, so I know they was doing that. But I looked around the house and we was living good, so to me it was something fun.
Mm.
They was having fun. It was sniffing, that they had that drug, and I always seen alcohol around. The crib was fly back then. Floor model TVs was in, we had two of those. And we had a dope crib, you know what I'm saying? And so um,
Yeah.
we had this situation where my step pops hung out too long, came home, my mom got into it with him, went to hit him, she missed him and hit her arm went through the window, she cut her wrist on through the window. She went back to my family down in Stanford because we was living in New Haven. And New
Mm-hmm.
Haven was crazy. The gun waving in New Haven, they got their name from the 80s because, when the sun dropped, the guns popped. It was never failed. When it got dark, they lit it up. And
Real nigga,
so,
Peace, Connecticut. Raekwon
yeah,
said, not
yeah,
me. Don't be mad at me. I'm just saying.
yeah, it's a fact. And so, and this is just telling the history. It's not glorifying, but it is telling the history. And so this happened to my mom's, and she went back to all my uncles and my mom, my father, our great uncle, which is my grandmother's brother. They came back up. Long story short, my stepfather brother was living with us. He wasn't there, so the brother was there. They beat the brakes off of him. My stepfather came back, seen and I watched it, seen his brother in a pool of blood and
Wait,
crackhead at that time. So he ended up on,
hey
when my
Chuck,
mom left.
hey Chuck, not to
Yeah.
interrupt you. Did you see any kung fu shit up in there when they was beating the brakes off them?
I mean, my grandma was involved. She had a gun and she pointed it at him and stick my uncle and my great uncle on my
Well,
stepfather's
that's how
brother.
the 80s was real family oriented.
Yeah,
Families ran the hood. Last names ran the hood.
yeah,
I like in Stanford,
yeah,
they had like I'm a Ford, they had the Gardners, they had, the Goathies is big in the village.
They had they a lot. The Joneses.
I
yeah,
growing up in them times, your last name meant something, your family meant
yeah,
something, niggas. You
yeah.
cut so nigga,
One more.
18 cousins is
I'm
coming.
gonna keep that for a later note. I don't want to be putting things up.
Yeah,
That's my
but
yeah.
as far as the faith goes, I see. I did a little research in your music. How'd you get
Yeah.
into the music? You was always doing music, or it just came
Well,
about?
music was, see, and that goes back to the 80s. Music was one of the things when you say, what did I take positive from the 80s? After seeing my
Mm-hmm.
stepfather get caught out on crack cocaine, and I got to see that because after my mother, they had did that to his brother. But we separated from them and we back to Stanford in the village with my family from the village, and we lived there for a little while. And she came back to him, and that same house we lived in, the floor model TV was gone. He had cut the bar in half and sold it in two different parts. And one part he had, and one little piece he had. And my mother came to him and said, "What's this?" And it was I never remember. It was a clear crack pipe. And he told her, "You don't want." He was hitting it, and he said, You don't want none of this. As soon as I came in, I seen everything going. I went to my room to see if my TV was in there. You know what I'm saying? And that was going. So he was getting high. And when I
Yeah.
came back out, I was slowly coming down the hallway, and I watched him tell her. She asked him, "What is this? Let me get some." And he's saying, "No, you don't want none of this." She forced it on and smoked it anyway because he had got small within 3 months. And she was still healthy, and she ain't had a problem with scrapping with him because that's what she was doing when this all initiated. And so she forced herself to take it and get high. So at that point, it affected us because now they're getting high, we smelling it. We moving from place to place. And so in school, my thing was, okay, I just watch my family fall. I want to help us get back up. So I was positive. I looked up to Dr. Martin Luther King. We learned about him in school. Michael Jordan. I was watching Mike because Mike in the 80s, he was getting busy. Mike Tyson and Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And hip hop had hit, and LL was the dude. Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. Them was my three right there. And
Yo, you hitting you.
You hitting on stuff that between us three, you done hit some of the things that kept us going, our generation. Cause you
a
3
fact
years
though,
older than me, and I know Bump older than us, but still, you named some heavy hitters. Mike was an influence. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. You
Bobby,
know, it saved a lot of niggas in the hood looking up to those
bro.
dudes.
And
Whitney
that's a fact.
Houston, Casey
And, and,
Jones,
and to
Mary,
me, I didn't really
Mary.
know about. Yeah, I didn't know about God then. I mean, we watched Fred Price and G.E. Patterson on Sundays. You know, Step Pops always watched him. And
Damn,
and
that's
so
throwback. You just had a throwback.
yeah, so that was only God that I knew. And so um when you say what did I take from the 80s in that time, it was greatness from the greatest. Like I needed to vicariously live through them to be great in my own life. You know what I'm saying? So that I
I
could get
like how
through it
you
with
said
whatever.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
That was dope. That was dope. What you just said. That was real
And so
dope.
I just tapped into their greatness, and I was the greatest I could be. I collected cans. I stole, and this is like 8 years old. We talking about 88, 70, 87, 88, 86, 87, 88. It happened in 85. I remember when they started getting high. And so I ran around. I did whatever I could do to put food on the table because we could not keep food. My stepfather was still working, but he'd work, knock out a furniture basement, be done with it, and he'll take the money and get high. He'd buy food, but then he end up selling it. Buy school clothes, end up selling them. Video game, get it, end up selling it. And so I had to learn to be great, and I took that greatness that I seen in Michael Jordan, but I was my own Mike in my family. I was my own Mike Tyson in my family, my own Michael Jordan in my family, my own Michael Jackson. And then the music, I listened to the rap and I like to dance. I danced, and I was a beatboxer during that time. I beatbox and dance, and
Okay. That's what's up.
and I mean young. I'm talking about 9 years old. We ain't talking about
Hey,
nobody that's
hey, Chuck, you was
Now
yeah,
we still in the 80s. We get it. We
yeah.
get it.
hold on, but I want to hear it. You used to shake your ass, huh?
Well, I didn't. I didn't even have one back then. I was narrow, man. I was a little pole, man, a little skinny dude, man.
Little
Told
skinny.
you, yeah, I
Yo,
was running the street.
hey, Chuck, let me find out, Chuck.
Well, you got the Running Man. That was one of the ones we did. We was doing what we could do. You know what I'm saying? Trying to spin
Running Man
on
was
your
your
back.
era. I was doing
No,
butterflies and the Running Man and the
no, you care. If I wasn't spicy, my skates is right here. I get up and I'll just start bugging because I know I can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And
Jumping
so,
at the
yeah,
Roger Rabbit.
and that's it. This is the '80s. You know what I'm saying? So
Shit. Word.
it
so
was
now we
that.
fast forward now. So
Yeah.
Okay,
what
we
is your
we,
message?
we
We won't
can't fast
fast forward
forward.
a little bit.
Okay, but what we're gonna do is you ask me about we're gonna actually you asked me
Hold on, hold
about
on, hold on.
God.
Huh?
Hold on. Let me
Let me
look
Go
hear
at
what you
ahead.
my
said.
nigga used
No,
to
let me hear
watch.
what you said.
Remember that?
Watch what?
Godzilla.
Oh, I remember them. Them was the King Kong, Godzilla, all of that. That was the era too.
Yeah, niggas,
Kung
we
Fu,
grew up off that shit.
Kung Fu Flips, He-Man, Thundercats.
I still
Yeah,
watch that. Listen, and I'm gonna give you guys.
Foundation.
I don't never want to grow up, nigga. I'm a Toys R Us kid. You see, I got racing track, slot car. You'll see.
Yeah.
So when we fast forward now in this day and age,
Well, I got it because the glory goes to God. I gotta let you know from the point of the '80s where my first experience was God, where God was.
yes, that's what we need.
Because
That's what we was trying to
because what
touch,
I'm trying to
so we
do is
can
I'm
move
trying to put you
forward.
on
We
a
can't move
journey that
forward without this.
okay.
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to get you to
go
where my
ahead.
journey,
Yeah,
I'm trying to get you to where my journey started with God.
yeah, nah,
And,
we with you,
and
bro.
Yeah, keep
Why
going.
the
what
more
I learned about uh, a journey with God is usually perpetuated by a struggle. That's how our people got so close to God. For those who are spiritual and our family members that were spiritual, it was the persecution that we had to go through, where nothing in our physical world could change what was going on. We had to look up. So that's where I was. So, and I just learned that from the history of our people to why we were so spiritual. Because I'm like, why black people? And so that, the struggle brings you close to God. And if you can get that jewel out of there, it's gonna make you great. Okay, so my I told you about G.E. Patterson. I'm telling you specific things because this ain't the first time that I've interviewed. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So I'm segueing so you can really get the full gist of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I told you
I
about
get it. I get it.
I told you about G.E. Patterson and Fred Price.
Hmm.
So there were seeds planted from listening to them that I didn't know existed, but from them the Bible says that faith come by hearing, and hearing there by the word of God. So I have faith in God. And so this particular night was a cold night because when they got high, they used to get paranoid, and they used to make me sit on the porch, and I used to signal. I used to have to signal if I seen the cops, and the code word was candy. It's funny. And they had me out. They used to be cold. I'm out there with a blanket, and so sometimes I used to just say it just to say it to play around, just so they could run out to the door
Just
or
to come
whatever.
in the
Check the
crib.
window. Yeah, just so I can get them. Yeah, just so I can get them. You all got me out here. I'm gonna have y'all I'm gonna have y'all have a heart attack. Cause I'm gonna be yelling candy every 5 minutes. You know. And so one particular night, it was a church next door. It was a Spanish church, so I didn't understand nothing, but I felt, I understood him. I felt what was over there. If that makes sense. There was a sound that resonated from the church. That sound like victory, and it sounded like freedom.
wow, that's
Um, During that time, I remember a dream that I had, being that young, of heaven. And I saw all the animals that we know today to be ferocious, but they all looked like teddy bears. And this was heaven. They looked teddy bear. When I mean like teddy bears, they looked like you could hunger. You wasn't afraid of the lion. It looked lovable. And this was like, I don't know if this was here, heaven or paradise, but I seen it. And from then I was like, this is where I want to be at. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks so peaceful. So I prayed to God one night, looking at the stars. I said, Lord, I said, God, this is what I said. I believe I said, dear God, help me, please. It was simple. Help my family, help my mother, help my father, help us out, help me. And simultaneously, my aunt was down in Stanford getting saved on the South End. This is around the same time because I'm 8 years old. And something happened where my stepfather ran off. We was living in a crack house. We had the front part of it, and it was just something happened. They couldn't pay the rent, and so he went his way. He was always able to find a place to stay with his mother or whatever. And we went down to Stanford, and my aunt was in church, and we started going to church from there. Fast forward,
Mm.
I've grown up in church from the age of 8, but remember, now, mind you, I'm going back and forth to Stanford while I was young, so we was drinking beers and everything because down in Stanford, when I was 6'5", 6'7", they get high, smoke weed, and we used to sneak and drink, take beers and take them upstairs, two sips and pass when we was 6, 7 years old. So I had a little taste of everything back then, and then you being around them smoking, I'm inhaling it. So there was some type
Yeah.
of yearning or curiosity about it that I had. So we came here, we living. My mom gets saved more and more. They going to church. I'm watching her build herself back up, get her confidence, and she developed a different habit now. She started buying a lot of furniture and buying a lot of clothes, and that was her new addiction. And during her recovery, we were neglected. It felt like it was like all she cared about was church and her furniture and her looking nice. You know what I'm saying? So it felt like we
But
still
you know
suffering
how
all
that
over
is
again.
because they lose themselves to addiction. So when they come out of it, the first person they think about is themselves. So
Yeah,
they
and
they
so I'm like,
they get to that personal shit
But the
now
furniture shit, like, because what
because they never
originally,
had.
they was
no,
selling it.
they
She was
had
selling
it.
it.
They had
You
it.
remember they was
Yeah, yeah. In the beginning, they selling. They never had.
When one old buddy started selling
cause,
shit, that's when she was like, like overstaying, like, all right, they had it, but that's she went back to her old shit, like, you feel me?
yeah. And that's the thing, because I told you we had the floor models and all of this.
Yeah,
So she's
yeah.
she's
So
looking at God to
behavior.
restore her life in a way that
Yeah,
neglected us. You know what
she's
I'm saying?
looking at God through a different lens than most people at that time.
Yeah, she looked at it like, okay, I'm going to make up for everything that I lost and get it back
Yes,
by
yes,
myself.
That makes
yes,
sense. That makes sense. I think that's why
yes.
I got to
But
use
th-
I statements. That's
but
why
that's
I'm
how
coming
most.
with a lot of sneakers and all of the
But the
unnecessary
thing is,
money.
that's how like when you live with addicts, that's how most addicts are. You
But
know, because
we're
they lost a lot through addiction,
addicts
especially
to,
if they lost it early. You know,
but
you
Yeah,
we're
she
lose
got
a
all
they got
lot
to know
through.
they was on crack in her 20s
So yeah,
back
you
then because
lose a
they hit
lot
they
through addiction.
yeah
It's
they
almost
start
like you want to relive your life again.
yeah
You know,
yeah
because you missed out on so much.
but we all had
and
an
then,
addiction of something in some sort or somehow. Like I had an addiction in just selling drugs and having a lot of money, power,
Nah,
respect,
but
all that.
it's the same. It's the same mentality as the nigga who goes to jail. Back and forth, back
Same
and forth.
shit,
He missed
right?
his life. So now when he come home, he want to go get that car. He want to
I
go do all the
was
things he never
making
had a chance to do.
shit. Now we're coming into the second, because as you get older and you're still chasing, then it's really second childhood type shit come in. Am I correct?
Yeah.
well for me or for her
But I'm just saying in general, in general life,
I
because I'm a
mean
statistic too.
it was I felt like it was the reverse for me because my childhood was going already to me like I had to live through y'all doing what y'all was doing
All right,
You
so
don't
so it's
when
cutting
you live
you.
with an addict, you don't get a childhood.
and
Mm,
so now I'm
You
going to
live
tell
with an
you that
addict, there's no childhood.
and that some way I do feel like and I can get to that later I do feel like at times
take
I
note. I
do
want to get back to that, Coast, but because there's more to it than that, just an addict. But go ahead.
so while she's doing this and living her life I'm growing up with her at church and being made to do certain things. Oh, you got to shout and she cried when she found out I wasn't a virgin. That that was but the whole time like the age of 12, Snoop Dogg and them, the West Coast started hitting. So I started I was attracted to gang life at that time. It attracted me, drew
Mm-hmm.
me in. Um, my role models, who I looked at to be who they was, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, those people that I seen them as human beings because to me, God was the one who brought me out of the situation. Because I prayed and I watched my mother end up in the church after that. And she wasn't fully rehabilitated to the point where she was able to be a mother to me, but I was so, let me say it like this, the mother I wanted her to be, but I was so grateful that she wasn't the mother she used to be. And
Mm.
I knew she still loved me. But
Yeah.
she
Mm-hmm.
became very
I
materialistic.
understand that fully. I
Yeah.
understand that fully.
She became very materialistic, and that left me now at the age of 12 wearing my cousin's stuff. And then at some point when I got 15, I got tired of it and I started selling weed. You know what I mean? And slowly but surely, I started changing. I got high the first time, eighth grade summer at Terry Connor's with this white kid, Italian kid named Chris Lupinacci. You probably know him, Don,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Lupinacci down in Stanford. And everything, huh?
I'm cool with Brad.
Yeah. Okay, so I
Wait,
started getting high,
shit.
and now before then I would able to balance that because I started doing the gang thing at 12. I was able to hide the fact that I was a little street and keep the church roll up before in front of my mother and the church members. But once that at that 8th grade summer, I smoked weed. I started get. They knew it because I was smoking all the time. My mom knew it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Thanksgiving, we high. She just knew it at that point. And I was an adult at that point. Now you know once I got that weed in me and I didn't care. Now it's my time to be the addict and do me. You know what I'm saying? And I want what I seen in the '80s. I want the Slick Rick. I want the Big Daddy Kane chain, the jewelry. I wanted the car now. You know what I was processing back then. I didn't even know was in me. And of course, you know, I grew out of it at a young age. Even though I was, you know, before I was 20, I wasn't that wasn't my mindset no more. Drug dealing, and I started working. And I first got a job at 17 at the library in Stanford. You know, and
Ferguson.
I was catching charges and everything too. I was in the street, like Bump was saying. I had my little gang banging and my you
So
know,
when
bunch
did
of
the
people.
faith hit? When did you
Well, the faith,
realize you was gonna
it,
be a
it,
full man of God?
okay, so after the process, I told you where the seed was planted from G. Patterson, and then I
Mm-hmm.
got the prayer, and then I got in the church with my mom. I loved it. The church was everything. I loved it, but I didn't like how I didn't feel like, you know, the attention that I needed was there for me. I just, all right, Mom, God, you got God. God, you got Mom Dukes. Now I'm about to do me. And I was thankful I knew what I knew from church, because when I was getting locked up, God was, you know, I would pray Psalms 91. God would, you know, let me escape from the snare of the fowler. You know what I'm saying? I would run and I
Mm.
did my thing.
Say that
I got,
again. Say that again.
he would let me escape from the snare of the fowler. When I played not Psalm 91, it seemed like I always would get out of my jams. And so I started smoking dust heavy, you know what I'm saying? And when I was about, I smoked it a couple times when I was 17.
People
And
might know what that is. Can you just briefly exemplize and the effects, the cause and effect?
well, at first, I used to see the people that was high, because I'm from the V. I used to see them, I'm like, yo, I don't understand how somebody could do that. But then
That shit
somebody
used
I
to
knew,
scare me.
yeah, but then, you know, I listened to rap, but I was like, I was more, every time I hear rap and like all of that, I was always high. So I was really just listening to it, thinking about something else, and just rocking out to the beat and remembering certain things.
Yeah,
But
I know what you mean.
at some point, I didn't even know Wu-Tang, I didn't even know they were smoking dust, but I found that out. And, you know, it was just like, all right, well, these niggas smoking. I mean, and I had already took mine. I'm like, well, it can't, they rich, they still maintaining.
It can't be that bad.
So I started smoking dust, and I didn't do it all the time. I did it every now and then
Nah,
until,
hey, it can't be that bad. It's,
nah,
it's,
I'm just saying, what's going on, Hump? Bogart, what
it's,
up?
now, when that shit was crazy Eddie, when niggas was really wild, it's still
Yeah.
niggas that shit. Now.
No, I
Nah,
really
I used to
wild
see
though.
the older niggas in the V used to smoke that shit. I used to be
Yeah,
scared. That shit used
I,
to scare the fuck out of me, yo.
yeah,
I used to be like, it was the dust that, like, because I started, like, smoking weed early, like 12, 13, I was high weed. But it was the dust that even made me stop smoking weed, because I was like, you never know with the shit. You never, that shit was scary.
Yo,
yeah,
I smoked the shit, but I wasn't like a dust, you know, like, cause I'm a fly nigga and I love to be in charge. Like,
Every nigga I knew,
I can't
every
be
nigga I knew that smoked that shit was gone. They was bugging
yeah.
out, and
in
I was
I was
control.
gone.
scared.
I was
Yeah,
gone.
y'all, and embarrassing myself, and you know, cause I love me. But first and foremost, that's no shot towards those who.
So around this time, what year is this? This is what, 95,
Well,
94,
nah, this is
96. What
like
year is this?
97s when I first took a toke with a
97.
dust.
Okay. The
Yeah,
Fly
90,
era, the Mace era, Pac is dead, Biggie's dead.
yeah,
You know, Hove is getting lit. I'm just thinking in my head, because that's my era. That's like my high
yeah,
school
yeah.
era. 97, I'm ninth grade.
So I ended up moving to Norwalk, and I was about 17, about to be about 18 years old,
Mm-hmm.
19. I had this Mexican girl who knew where the dust spot was, and I had already smoked it before, and she was smoking it.
You changed on this truck when you moved to the whack.
No, I was still me I was getting jumped and everything, nigga. I was still Southfield. I was still hollering it out there, nigga, going
Cause
at it.
around
You know what
them
I'm saying?
times, the whack was dangerous for niggas like us. See, Bump, you an
RC,
old
yeah.
head.
I was in RC
Around
getting
them
into it.
times, 97, 98, the whack was dangerous for niggas like me and him. We like in the same era. Bump, you an old head. The whack, we used to go at it for years.
Man, ruling the court and the hill. You know what I'm saying? I was out there,
Yeah.
you know, I was getting my little hustle on
I
out
don't
there.
know if your era, Bump,
Yeah,
had problems with Norwalk like our
rest in
era did.
real quick, moment of silence. Rest in peace to my boy, Chew Boy, David Riley. Yo, I want to shed a tear, man. Yo, real dude, yo. Moment
Real
of
dude,
silence.
rest in peace.
Chew Boy.
Blessings to your family. If he got kids, blessings to his kids.
Dude, he got it. I know, you know, I don't want to
Bless
holler her
you.
name out, but yo, you surely know, you know what I'm saying? He got a beautiful daughter by her that I know of, you know what I'm saying? I know he was a good dude, man. He was a beautiful spirit. Rest in
Now,
peace, man.
so now we 97. You still
Yeah.
going to church every day?
No,
Or
I
off and
stopped
on?
going to church. I stopped going when I was 15. Like after I started smoking weed, I would visit every now and then because my mom would be on me so hard. And then when I go to the crib at late night, I come in, she praying mad loud. I leave back out, go back in the street. And you know,
So
so
when did you get back on it?
well, after I moved to Norwalk, I had met this Mexican girl. You know, I knew her already since we was young, like
Mm-hmm.
middle school. But I had seen her again, and she knew where the dust spot was in the city. So you know, and she was on it. So I started smoking it with her, and we started copping. I started selling it in Norwalk, and I had a bad dust trip. I used to smoke dust a blunt an hour every on the hour, and I used to
Oh, so
lend
you was
out.
going. You was on. You was going. You was
Yeah,
on it
I used to lend out. I used
at
to
that
lend
time.
out
Yeah, you
bags.
was on it.
I used to lend out bags, and I used to when I used to get high, it gave me something to do. I would ride around and collect, and you know, I used to ride around with the strap outside the car against the car door. You know what I'm saying, and ride through and ask for the dudes that owe me or whatever. And I used to love playing that song. What type of niggas slinging bang in the streets? Bad boys.
Boys,
That
the type
Shine
of
joint.
nigga playing Jones in the weeks. Bad
Man,
boys.
I played that every day during
That
this time
shine shit.
on repeat. And
So
so
now we pushing that. Now we into like I want to say 99
yeah,
2000s.
exactly. Okay, so I'm
So
on
now we in the
probation.
99 2000s.
Yeah,
Shines.
I'm
So
on
like
probation.
I'm fresh. I'm probably freshly graduating high school and shit like
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
at that time, I'm on probation.